Hi guys, welcome to the video. So what we'll be doing today is working on a timeline, an interactive timeline within the map of Europe in the unit that we've been working on, the Renaissance and the Reformation. But what we'll be doing is we'll be doing it upon Prezi, which is a software or a website that you can use. Prezi, as you can kind of see, the website up top is prezi.com, and you should have created your login account already by doing so. So let's get started. What we'll do is we'll start a new Prezi. Prezi is available on Mac and PC and pretty much any desktop computer. Sometimes it just takes a little bit to load. Just kind of bear with it a little bit. But once we get going, I'll get started. Now, Prezi does allow you to give you different types of templates that you can use. So, for example, if I type in timeline, you can kind of see some of the timeline templates that you can use for this project. But let's start a blank Prezi because remember you do have to add a map of Europe um, within this assignment. All right, so let's walk through the functions of Prezi a little bit. So on your left-hand column, what you'll see is you'll see your frames or what's kind of known as your slides. Now, your frames have different options in terms of how you can present the frame. There are four different types of styles of frame. Right now, I have selected the circle frame. You can also edit your path. So as I add more frames, let's add another frame just to kind of give you an example. Um, it'll appear here in your path, or your path is in the matter in terms of the order of your frames or your slides. I can always edit my path in terms of how I want to do it. I can kind of alternate, switch the order, or you can completely erase a frame by editing the path here. And once you've done, you can click done. Now, Prezi is a format that is very manipulative. You can zoom in and zoom out on a lot of your things within your canvas. Um, you could also make your slides bigger than the one another or the same size, but that's really totally up to you in terms of how you want to do it. I do heavily suggest kind of playing around with Prezi because it does allow you a lot of functions and a lot of manipulation, which is neat because you can tailor-made your presentation in terms of however you want to do it. So let's walk through some of these functions. So one of the things that you do have is you have an undo, which is Control Z, or you have a redo option up here. It does save it for you every so often, about every minute, but if you want to save it, that's totally up to you. Um, Prezi also does give you an option to insert different images, videos. You could also change out your layouts. I'm going to allow you to highlight different aspects and even put in some background music, which is neat. You can insert a PowerPoint into a Prezi, which is pretty neat. So if you have a PowerPoint already constructed that you want to work on, you can do so. You could also include some PDFs or other videos. Now you could also customize your Prezi with different types of themes and formats by selecting, so you can change the color of your frames, but also the background if you like. Now, um, you have your present option here, so when you're ready to present your Prezi and view it for its final editing, you can do so. Now, upon completing the Prezi, you will share the Prezi with me via email, but there's also other aspects of Prezi that you can do. You can present it remotely. You can share on Facebook if you want. You can download a PDF, and it's also portable. There's portable Prezi, which are available on tablets and also certain smartphones. All right, so let's get started. Sorry about that. Hit the run X. Okay, so the first things we want to do with the Prezi is we want to um, insert the map of Europe, right? So based on your assignment, we have to essentially create this timeline upon a map of Europe. So we're going to be able to see some of these events chronologically, um, and we need the canvas to reflect that. So by uh, clicking on Customize, here in this background option, we're going to choose a file. So for me, I've already gone and done so, and pretty much just Googled a map of Europe. I'm pertinent to the timeline that we're working on right now, and you can kind of see there's the map of Europe. Now my frames are accessible here, so I'm just kind of going to move it to the side and we'll work with those shortly. All right. Now, okay. So what we're going to do is the homework assignment that I asked you to complete is we're going to take some of the significant events of the Renaissance and the Reformation, and we're going to insert them into the map, into the location of where they occurred. Now, your homework assignment should look something like this, where we're outlining the historical event or even the individual that was the main role, that took part in the main role of this event. And we're looking at the cause and then also the effects, right? So some of these things we've already covered in class. They're also outlined in your textbook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create slides in regards to these events and the causes and effects. And what we'll do is we'll insert it into the map of Europe. So one thing I do want to say is that in certain formats, for example, on my desktop, what I was working on before, I was able to copy and paste the text that I already had typed up into my Prezi on my Mac. Unfortunately, I can't. So it's quite okay. We're gonna do that. If you can't, I mean, we're not typing a lot, so that's absolutely fine. So let's create our first slide here. So by selecting on your frame, let's kind of give ourselves a little bit more room here. Selecting on your frame, you can always zoom to frame. And we could always add a subtitle. So let's create this frame. We'll name it Martin Luther. And then from there, we'll just kind of give an outline of the cause. All right. So you'll type in the cause of the events, what led up to the event. And then also what we'll do is in the same frame, we'll write the effects. All right. And then you can kind of fill in your bullet points as you work on it. Okay. Now the assignment also calls for is your add a new frame. It calls for to create or search for a picture that would accompany your event. So what we'll do is using this insert tool, we'll select on image. And the neat thing about Prezi is that it allows us to search for images, which is powered by Google. So we can just kind of pull it up directly. We don't have to open a new tab or a window to do so. So we can, let me type in Martin Luther 95 theses, and let's see kind of what comes up with my search. So what I'll do is I'll select this painting, which has Martin Luther nailing the 95 theses on the wall on the church of in Witten. And what I will do is I would actually recommend you guys to, whenever you do put a picture, is to put that picture within a frame itself. So by doing so, you can move it completely all together instead of moving the picture and then moving the frame. Actually works a little bit easier. Now, part of your homework assignment is to make sure that you insert and you are accurate with putting your, excuse me, I just want to delete this, with putting your pictures and your events and your cause and effects directly on the map to make sure that it's accurate, right? So for this event, we know that it occurred in the church in Witten, Germany. So we wouldn't put it in France. So part of your assignment is to make sure that you're accurate with your depiction as well. So let's move this over here together. All right. And something I do actually want to recommend is let's make this map a frame. This way, when we view the whole thing, it can actually go back and we can center it within ourselves. So as you can kind of see, Prezi does take a little bit of manipulation, which is fine, but the more you work on it, the better you'll be accustomed to it. All right, and what we can do is, since let's say I want to put this frame as my frame number 1, we'll do is there. So already, okay, and then we're done with this. All right, so what we'll do is we'll take this slide and this slide, and we want to incorporate somewhere into the area of Witten, Germany, which should be right this area in the eastern side, close to Poland, and we will do. We'll make it very, very minuscule, very, very small. This way, as we zoom in on it, it'll kind of take us directly to the location where it started. So, as I go to present my Prezi presentation, you can see that my slides will go directly to the place where it occurred, and it'll pop up for you to see, and then you can kind of talk about your event, and then we can move on to the next event, and it'll zoom back in and out. So that's one of the functions of Prezi that's really kind of mesmerizing, very fun to work with, and I highly recommend you guys really just work on it as much as you can. Remember, you do have, based on your sheet, you do have several events that you're going to pinpoint. So make sure that there's an accuracy within your map. And then there's also put details in regards to the cause and effect of your event. If you guys do have any questions, I know we do have some days before this assignment is due. Feel free to bring it up in class, which we'll have time to address it. But also feel free to email me with any questions you may have. All right, guys, I want to thank